How's it going, guys? I'm that guy in a field, and welcome to a new series that I'm going to be calling the Undead Bedtime Stories. And in tonight's premiere episode, stick around because there's a special plot twist at the end that I think you guys are going to enjoy. And I just hope you guys enjoy the video in general because this story is a bit of a wild one. And I look forward to telling you guys more stories in the future. So leave a comment and let me know if there's a story that you'd like to hear, or let me know how you like this story in general. And as far as how I'm going to be doing this, I'm going to set it up as kind of like I'm going to tell either true or like maybe even just like scary stories in general, depending on the episode. And I don't know how I'm going to set it up exactly going forward, but stick around because we're going to figure this thing out together, and I hope you guys enjoy. So, without further ado, let's get into tonight's episode. Around 2010, a mother and her three boys were going through a bit of a financial struggle, and among other things, just weren't doing well in general. They were dealing with a housing issue at the time, and the mother, could not afford to keep rent for the apartment that they were living in due to the very quickly rising inflation rates at the time, and or housing rates at the time. I mean, and a friend of the mother reached out to her and told her that he had a trailer home that he lived in, and he was willing to let her and her three boys stay there under the condition that she paid a little bit of rent each month to kind of, help with things around the house and support things around the house in general. So the mother immediately took the man up on the offer. She was very grateful and thanked him numerous times for letting her and her three boys stay there. So after getting moved in and situated and kind of getting comfortable with the neighborhood and everything, the three boys started to kind of, I guess, explore the neighborhood, make friends, and kind of like get to know everyone around the general area that they were in. They were in a place called Daytona North in Flagler County, Florida, and it's, for those who don't know, a large trailer park essentially. The streets are set up like city grid, except they're dirt roads, and there's trailer parks lined up on each and every street, save for two or three paved roads that actually exist in the area, but for the most part, it's dirt roads. And the boys, after kind of getting acquainted with the people in the neighborhood and the other children in the neighborhood, um, would kind of hear stories from all of their friends and stuff around them that the neighbor they had who lived directly to the house to the left of them actually was like either a pedophile or a serial killer, and he was a strange man, and like just a bunch of weird things that kids, bunch of weird rumors that kids would bring up, like your average thing. And the man was a bit of a recluse, and he didn't much talk to people, didn't much leave his house, and nobody ever hardly saw him coming or going from the home that he lived in. So the boys didn't think much of it. They just, took the story that they were told as a whole and ran with it. And basically, essentially, anytime they would see the man leaving or coming from the house, they would kind of run inside or kind of just stay away. And about a year goes by, and the man would kind of like be outside in his yard randomly, occasionally, and the boys would see him, and he'd just kind of be like doing random activities like raking in certain areas. And the man had several sheds on his property. It was a large property, and he had it's set up like it was a rental cabin type of thing, except he didn't rent any of them to anybody. He just had like several cabins on the property, kind of dispersed across the property, and each cabin had their own furnishing and other things around them, and like the yard was filled up with like there was a koi pond and several other large like old antique relics and things like that laid across the yard. And the family kind of started to, talk to him on occasion. And one night, the man actually offered to cook dinner for the mother and her three boys. And the mother, still kind of going through financial struggles at the time, basically took him up on the offer and said, "Well, thank you. We're very grateful." And the man seemed very excited and went back to his house and began cooking for the family. And about an hour goes by, and the man comes back with a pot and some plastic bowls, and he had cooked raviolis for the family. And he opens the pot, and inside the pot, it was all one texture. He had boiled them until they were basically all falling apart. And being coming from a poor, I guess, house would be the way to put it. Um, they were still grateful and they still ate the food, obviously, but they just kind of felt off about it. And they would recount that in later years to come about how it just seemed like it was a weird thing. And the mother actually asked the man about why they were cooked like this, not trying to be disrespectful, but just trying to, like, I guess, understand why he did it. And he just said that it was how he cooked his raviolis. And so they thanked the man, and he went about his way, and they didn't think nothing of it. And some time goes by, and one of the boys would actually recall going over to the man's house and trying to, I guess, like speak to the man. And he would go back to his mother and tell her that the man was a strange man. He was pretty much obsessed with making what's known as fly lures. It's something that's used for fishing. And he listened to classical music on a wind up vinyl player. I think it was known as a Victrola. And basically, the mother, knowing this, was like, "Yeah, he's a bit of an odd person, but he seems harmless. So just kind of stay away from him, and you should be all right." A couple of months go by, and they get to the point where it's the 4th of July. And the three boys are out in their driveway and they're lighting off firecrackers and other little fireworks. Nothing crazy, nothing too loud, just like little things that they were given to kind of have fun during the 4th of July. And the man comes over, and immediately before the three children can even react, he begins yelling at them and cussing them out and telling them that they better stop lighting the fireworks. And if they don't stop lighting the fireworks, they will light the woods on fire and have hell to pay. And the children, being children, were basically like, "No, fuck you, get off the property." And the man kind of like sneers at them and basically quickly leaves and goes back to his house. And the boys, thinking that they're successful and that they've essentially shunned the man away and succeeded in what they were doing, go back to lighting the fireworks. And about 10 minutes go by, and the man comes back out, and this time he's wielding a machete. And he's yelling at them and cussing at them, and kind of just like trying to walk through the gate that was at the end of the driveway, and just being violent in general, moving weird and whatnot. And the mother and the owner of the house were actually out on the porch this time. And they immediately seen this and rushed outside to confront the man and stop him. And he freaked out and said that they need to stop lighting the fireworks, and then quickly left again. And so the mother and the owner of the house called the cops because they were obviously in fear that they were about to be attacked by a man wielding a machete and he was going to do some harm to her children. And The cops come, and due to the way things were at the time in the area that it was in, essentially the cops said that they didn't see it, they can't prove that it happened, and they don't really care. And so the cops left, and the mother and the owner of the house and the three boys were basically left in fear because there wasn't nothing they can do at this point other than just hope that the guy doesn't show back up and try and threaten them again. So some time goes by, and they don't see the man again for a while, and it's been about like 2, maybe 3 months, and he hasn't really come back over. He hasn't said nothing to the family. He hasn't tried to talk to them or apologize for what he did or anything like that. And one of the children would recount later on that he would be outside sometimes and hear like noises coming from like the tree line and stuff from where the property border was, and he thought later on that maybe it was him actually like watching them. It would be later, like in the evening or at nighttime, that he would hear this, and he wouldn't be able to see anything, but he'd hear like something moving in the woods, and basically get freaked out, go inside, say something to the parent or the person who owned the house. Owner of the house would go outside and investigate and not see anything, or the mom would go outside and yell and say, "Stay away from the property," and nothing would come of that, or nothing would happen. So they just kind of went about their way and just kind of took it up as it was animals. About 5 years go by, and the family is doing a little better financially and have moved into an apartment in Daytona Beach. The boys were respectfully between the three of them about 7 to 10 at the time, and 5 years had passed, and they were about like 14 to 16, somewhere in there now. And so they were, using the internet and doing stuff like that now. And one of the boys, particularly the older boy, um, was on something on the internet and come across an article about a man who was arrested in Flagler County, and was immediately taken aback by the article because on the front of it there was a mugshot, and the mugshot was of the man who actually lived next to them those 5 years back prior. And so he clicks on the article, and he's reading it and seeing like what he was arrested for, and the article starts off with an anonymous tip was submitted to the Flagler County Sheriff's Office that there were like screams or something like that coming from his property, and they got a search warrant. And I guess when they went out there, they somehow came to the conclusion that they needed to remove the sheds from the property while they were searching. And when they did, underneath the foundation of each shed were several bodies that the man of people that the man had killed over time. And the boy was shocked by this because obviously, I mean, 5 years ago they were close enough to this man, neighbors, that something could have happened to them. And he showed the article to his mom, and she was shocked as well. And the crazy plot twist to that story is that I was the oldest child, and I remember that to this day. And it was a really weird thing that happened. And I tried to research it to find some like screenshots or something to show you like at least what the man looked like. I couldn't find nothing on there, and so I can't really, I guess, uh, prove the story. But I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and if you want to see more of this content, please like and subscribe, and leave a comment and tell me how you like the story. Let me know if you remember this at all, if you lived near there or anything like that. And until next time, love you. Bye.